It began with startling charges. In 2025, James Comey, former FBI director, was indicted on federal charges of lying to Congress and obstructing a congressional proceeding. Simultaneously, Letitia James, New York's Attorney General, faced separate criminal charges. From the start, the lawsuits looked suspicious. The prosecutor behind the indictments, Lindsey Halligan, had been installed at the insistence of the administration, replacing a prior U.S. attorney who refused to press charges against high-profile targets. Critics argued this move violated norms about independent justice and raised concerns of political motivation. In courtroom proceedings, defense lawyers highlighted procedural missteps, irregular grand jury behavior, and even evidence disclosure. And suspicious timing. The indictment reportedly came just before the statute of limitations on some claims would expire. Then came the hammer blow. On November 24, 2025, a federal judge dismissed the criminal cases against both Comey and James, ruling Halligan's appointment unlawful. Because a valid prosecutor never had authority, all indictments were void for Comey and James. The courtroom battle ended, at least for now. The dismissal was issued without prejudice, meaning charges could be refiled, but the judge's decision delivered a stinging rebuke to the government's approach. Legal experts saw this as more than a win for two high-profile figures. It was a sharp warning about the limits of politicized prosecutions and a defense of institutional norms. Almost immediately, the decision sparked both outrage and celebration. Critics of the administration said it confirmed deep concern. The justice system was being used as a weapon against political opponents. The United States Department of Justice responded by pledging an appeal, at least in Letitia James' case, where the statute of limitations hasn't yet expired. Meanwhile, the manner of Halligan's appointment reignited long-standing debates about executive overreach, prosecutorial independence, and separation of powers for many Americans. The dismissals revived memories of contentious investigations from political wars past, an echo of battles over whether law enforcement should be an instrument of partisan conflict or impartial justice. Almost as if in dramatic counterpoint, another storm erupted. The Pentagon announced it was launching an investigation into Senator Mark Kelly. The reason? A widely shared video in which Kelly and 5 other Democratic lawmakers, all veterans, urged U.S. troops to refuse unlawful orders. They argued that service members have a constitutional duty to disobey orders that violate law or moral standards. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered the Secretary of the Navy to examine whether Kelly, a retired Navy captain, had violated military law, potentially subjecting him to recall under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Questions immediately arose: could a sitting U.S. Senator be prosecuted under military law for speech made as a civilian legislator? Kelly defiantly declared he would not back down, calling the probe ridiculous and a transparent attempt at intimidation. On a late-night talk show, he said, "He's going to prosecute me." For reciting the Uniform Code of Military Justice, he accused the administration of hypocrisy, pointing out that just weeks ago, the same officials had called for de-escalation of political violence. Political observers, civil rights advocates, and lawmakers across party lines reacted with alarm. Many saw the investigation not as a legitimate security concern, but as a blatant attempt to suppress dissent and weaponize the military justice system against critics. The timing coming right after the Comey James dismissal added a bitter, almost cinematic irony amid the legal and political chaos. A more quietly strategic move was unfolding inside conservative circles. The political advocacy organization Turning Point USA, once led by Charlie Kirk, was reportedly preparing to throw support behind a potential 2028 presidential push by J.D. Vance. Sources indicated the decision reflected Kirk's last wishes. For observers, TPUSA's move signaled long-term planning, while headlines swirled around indictments, investigations, and military recalls. Conservative infrastructure quietly aligned itself for the next major election cycle. If Vance runs and secures TPUSA's backing, it could reshape the field and galvanize a younger generation of right-wing activism. These developments highlighted the stakes for democracy and institutional integrity. The Comey James dismissals exposed how fragile prosecutorial independence can be when politicized, yet also how the judiciary can act as a check. The Kelly investigation raised severe concerns about whether military justice was being used to silence dissent, and the strategic moves of organizations like TPUSA showed that even amid chaos, long-term political positioning continues. The nation watched, tense and divided, as the interplay of legal drama, political maneuvering, and ideological battles unfolded, setting the stage for potentially historic consequences in both law and politics.